How do? Have you ever thought of giving your guitar a makeover? Well, today I'm going to be stripping this plastic round back acoustic and this no-name bass right the way back to the wood. Okay, stop. Okay, welcome to intro number 2. Intro number 1 was filmed under the impression that this was lacquer finish on this acoustic guitar that I was going to strip off using some paint stripper like I have with the bass to get rid of the lacquer that was on the top. Only I did a coat and nothing happened. So I did a second coat like it says on the tin and nothing happened. All it did was clean it, and I thought, there's something odd there. And then I noticed this. This little chip suggested to me that maybe it wasn't a lacquer finish after all. And with a little bit of prying with a Stanley knife, I could chip sections of this off. I think this is a plastic top. I mean, is that even a thing? A wood and plastic laminate. Now, I can't figure out if it is plastic, whether I'm either greatly offended that there's a plastic lid on top of this guitar, or I think it's absolute genius. I can't make my mind up. So I've measured this off, and with the calipers it's 0.7mm thick, which is way too thick for a lacquer. So this leaves me with a bit of a conundrum. I was supposed to be stripping this off so that I could do a pyrography burn on the face and then put a nice coat of lacquer back over the top again. But is that even possible now? So chipping away with a Stanley blade is an option. It's a bit of a dodgy one, I've got to say. There's bits fly off. You definitely need some glasses on to do that. So I'm going to have a go at a few different techniques. So I'm going to get some heat on it and see if I can melt some of the plastic to peel it off a little bit easier. I've no idea what's going to happen around these edges, whether this edging is any kind of real edging of any sort. I've no idea what to expect. If it all goes completely pear-shaped, I'll then figure out how to put a top on a plastic round back guitar. It's all a learning process. So let's get some heat. Just weird. Now, I could go straight in with a big blowtorch like this, but I suspect that's just going to set the guitar on fire, and I want to leave that wood top as clean as possible. So we're going to use something a little bit more discreet. This is a Dremel Versa tip. I've used this for a lot of pyrography before and soldering as well, but it also comes with one of these. This is a little heat gun adapter. So instead of getting bare flame, it's just going to fire off heat in a wider spread pattern off there. So we'll see if we can heat this plastic up without burning the wood underneath. So once it's lit, we lock it on. Now that's sending heat out of there. I can feel it. So I'm going to go on this section here. I'm just hoping we can get the plastic to delaminate of some sort just by warming it up. Got a little bit of cracking going on there, which is interesting. Ooh, can we see that? How weird is that? It's going off like popcorn. So the heat seems to work. It initially takes off the bulk of the plastic, like this popcorn that comes off, and then the residue underneath does actually scrub off fairly smoothly. It leaves a little bit of a scorching on the wood, but I think I'm going to end up very, very lightly sanding that back so it's a bit lighter colour anyway. Well, I think that's a success. So I'm going to work at this and try and remove the whole lot. I'll show you what happens when we get to the edges, so along this neck and under the bridge, because I don't want to remove the fretboard or the bridge either, but I suspect this plastic runs underneath it all, so I might just be able to cut around those areas and leave them as they are. Let's see what happens. So this bit came off fairly well. I don't know if it's because of the area that gets strummed that's coming up like popcorn, but slightly further away from that, it does seem to come up in slightly bigger chunks. Just got to start getting it warm, then it comes off. I am wearing glasses because this stuff really does pop off in some places. Now I'm getting closer to the edge, and this is where I'm getting slightly worried because I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, that is definitely a separate binding. Oh, okay. I was half expecting the binding to be fake as well and all just one piece, but... So, that does seem to have worked, and that cover, whatever it is, whether it is lacquer or whether it's a layer of plastic, honestly, I can't tell you at the minute. It's so bizarre. But that definitely does go over the top of that binding there. And the binding does seem to sit flush with the wood, which is great. But this seems to work, and I'm pretty sure that by the time I get just a real light sanding on there, I can get it back to this crisp colour, and we can carry on with the original idea, which is nice. It doesn't want to seem to play ball too much underneath there, so that might have to just come back to getting in there and chipping that off, I think. Right. So, what am I learning whilst going through this process? Well, firstly, I've picked the wrong day to be playing with fire. It's 31 degrees outside. We're in the middle of a mini heat wave in the UK. Kind of struck us by surprise, but there we go. Right, other things. Make sure when you're burning the top off, keep moving to different areas. So don't just keep working in the same area, moving back, because the wood underneath is just going to get hotter and hotter and hotter, and eventually it will catch fire. So I'm doing a chunk over here, then I'm doing a chunk over here, then I'm coming back over here, and I'm moving around to allow an area to cool down a little bit while I then work on a different patch. There's a weird thing going on where we've got these different colours around the darker edges. This stuff just peels off beautifully. You can probably see how clean that area is compared to this lot, and I think that must just be as the colour comes through. I am so confused with this. This might be lacquer, it might be plastic, the stain might be in the top, it might be stained on the guitar, then the stuff was applied on. I don't know what was going on here, because I could chip up everything even without taking up any wood. If you have any answers to any of these questions, please, please, please put them in the comments below, because I haven't got a clue what's going on here. It's really weird. Say this darker section where we've got the paint peels off really easily. The other stuff just goes off like popping candy, and when it flies around they're like little balls of fire, and if they land on your arm it's blinking hot. By the time they've actually landed, they then cool off very, very quickly. I don't think there's any risk of actually my workshop setting on fire, though obviously keep an eye on things, and yes, I do have a big bucket of water just off to the side just in case. Oh well, back to it. Slightly long-winded, but we'll get there in the end. Definitely need these. The way this stuff pops, unbelievable. Okay, so I've burnt in as close as I dare. We wouldn't want to go burning any bridges, would we? So it's going to have to be manual takeoff from here. So I'm just going to get the old Stanley knife, edge it round here just to try and crack whatever substance this is, and then go in with a long chisel and see if I can just chip that off. I've done it here It looks rough because of the burn on here and the not burn on there, but it's actually come up pretty decent. So that's what we're going to do all the way around here. Well, there we go. Finally, all of the, I'm going to say plastic, has been removed from the face of here. I now want to get it down to a fairly clean finish so that I've got a fresh canvas, as it were, to do some pyrography on, as was always the plan. We've just done the long-winded way around to get here. So I've got my random orbital sander. This is a 240 grit paper that's on here. I don't want to take any wood off. I literally just want to clean it. So that's all I'm going to do, is trying to skim through and take off as little as possible, and we'll see what happens. There we go. Not the clean, crisp finish that maybe I was hoping for, but we've certainly got rid of that. Well, I am going to stick with plastic. Okay, so does this mean I can carry on with my original design? Kind of. I was going to go for a nice, clean, crisp ivy or something like that carved in, but it might need to be a little bit more mean and moody. Maybe a little bit dirty looking. You can see on here these little kind of lighter spots that have happened. That's where the very top laminate popped off when that plastic went off like popcorn. So kind of stripping those off, and again it's gone through into that lower layer in those different areas. We've just got to play with what we've got, right? So yes, I am still going to have a pyrography picture on here. It's just going to be a different picture than I was originally thinking. So make sure that you click the like button on this one, and you subscribe and ring that little notification bell thingamajig to catch the makeover video for this, and a separate video for that base that we saw earlier on that was easily stripped with the paint thinners. Oh, if only this did the same thing. But never mind, we used what we've got. Until next time, God bless. See you soon.